Welcome to 12 Days of Creativity, a music production challenge that helps you finish more music and gets you creating. I'll guide you through crafting a full track in 12 videos, blending technical insights with confidence-boosting tips. More info and how to enter, check out the link below. One person will also have a chance to win an amazing gift bundle. Everybody who finishes the challenge will also get some amazing production-related treats, and whoever is the most active sharing their process in social media will get a surprise gift. Big thank you also to the sponsors of this series. Now let's get creating. Okay, day 3. So we're now going to talk about percussion and how it can mold the groove of our track. So remember that if you're a full beginner, then go and check out the extra content and my course from down below. I've just added some basic clips to demonstrate you what we can do with percussion. So right now we're working with toms, and especially with toms to create some groove that we can then use as the basis for the other instruments, like example bass. Okay, so example, we have here a clip. So without the toms, it just sounds, we just basically have bass, snare, bass, snare. And I added just toms, and I added them kind of scattered around a little bit without having too much thought on it. And this is what it sounds like. And if we move them around a little bit, you can hear that the groove changes, or the emphasis in the groove changes slightly in the different places. Okay, so if we do it different way, so right now we have the emphasis a little bit more on the beginning of the bar. What if we have it on the end and we use a little bit more space? So exactly otherwise, same pattern, same linear drum pattern. And if we start adding other drums like open hi-hats to it, or we can add some snare. Or we can add even closed hi-hats. So we are basically playing around the toms, and we can use that so much to create a really cool groove. Okay, otherwise we can also use the snares really creatively. So instead of just having them on the every second, and play around the percussion, and you can see that it emphasizes the groove a lot more. So this is what we have this far. And let's put the snares. Kind of cool, extra flavor, so it's less like and more. And what we can also do is add groove pool. So if we go to the groove pool here on the top middle corner here, we can go into grooves, and if I find a cool one, example, if I put house music, I can add that into the groove pool, and then I can add it into the clip. Okay, so there's a tutorial on groove pool below this video, so you can go and learn everything about it. Quantize it to this groove, which means that if we set this groove into this clip, you can see now how the notes are going to change. They move just like subtly. Look at this again. Well, that moved a lot, that snare there. But basically, we're quantizing the clip that we just made it into this groove that we already have here. And this allows then us to customize and make sure that all the clips in our track are all in the same groove, but also that our groove just sounds a lot better. So let's just put it back in there and listen to it now. So in this challenge, I am hoping that you will finish a track. Even if you don't like it, just finish it. So in the end, everybody who finishes their track can get a very nice discount from DistroKid. So I'm kind of encouraging you to publish your music and just put it out there. DistroKid has a really cool function called Split. So if you're going to collaborate with somebody on this challenge or after, you should use this. So it automatically splits payments to your collaborators. So example, if you work with other producers, bandmates, managers, and more, then you can use this in a very easy way. I've used it a couple times when I just have somebody, to example, my friend Sophie plays saxophone on my track, Are You Okay? So what I just do, I go here and I pick which one it is. So Are You Okay? There we go. And then I go next. So example here, I have Sophie and then I get 90% because I mostly did everything. And then I gave 10% to Sophie because she played and composed a saxophone part for that. And then obviously that is something that you need to discuss with your bandmate or manager or whoever it is beforehand. So you have a contract about it. It's free for all DistroKid members and there's 0 commissions and you can edit the splits and percentages at any time. So definitely recommend checking that out. For everybody, even if you're not doing the challenge, there is -7% off for your first subscription down below. Thank you, DistroKid, for supporting my channel again. So what did I do with percussions in my own track? Let's just play the toms. I'm just going to solo the toms here. And that was the groove that I very much felt for this whole track. And if you listen, it already kind of came from the pianos. So if you listen to the piano groove with the tom, it makes sense. So when I talk about tom and groove, when I talk about toms and groove, this is what I mean. That is a groove. That is ba 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 ba. And when everything kind of comes together, each instrument shows its own interpretation of that same groove. You know, like we're going to talk about in day 10, we're going to talk about storytelling. And that is part of it, is that each instrument is like taking part of this jam that happens in the same groove. On the top of that, I wanted to add some extra percussion. So I went into the packs here and I put up here percussion, and I was just finding different kind of packs that had really cool percussion sounds, and I found this ABS pipe percussion. And considering just what we talked about the groove, listen to this percussionist playing pipes situation. Exactly same rhythm as the toms. And that is basically the main riff of the whole intro. It's just the pipes going, playing that melody hook, which I love. On the top of that, I found more pipe sounds, and these ones just added more, I guess, like impact and atmosphere. It's like a reversed. Just sounds really nice. Everything in same groove. And this is mostly just percussions. How nice is that? And then let's add the drums. Harmony, it just fits together, you know? Okay, here now is the inspiration of today. Again, it's on my second YouTube channel called I Was Just Thinking. It's gonna help you with all this process and with this challenge, so go there and listen to my insecurities to make yourself feel better. Okay, listen to this. currently at the York University, and this building behind me is the music department, and I did my master's here. And when talking about identity, I think this place is one of the best places to demonstrate my points and my thought about identity. I'm extremely neurodiverse person. I have dyslexia, dyscalculia. I'm so much more also on the spectrum that I don't think I even have figured out yet. Since I was a kid, I've been always told, not directly, but indirectly, that I will never be an academic person. I will never be a technical person. I will never be someone who works in any of those things. So in a way, the world kind of stopped asking anything from me because I couldn't do well at school. The system didn't work for me. So this is the identity that I built for myself. The slightly weird, lazy maybe, untalented person who needed to figure out another way of making something out of myself in this world that is not a traditional way. So anyhow, in my 20s, I ventured up into Glasgow because my friend was in a university. I also applied as a 23-year-old into studying commercial music. In that university, I suddenly found myself getting really good grades. And suddenly I find myself in York University, still getting pretty good grades. And this was a weird thing for me because I was never the good one at school. I was never getting good grades. So it made me question everything, literally everything they have ever taught me or I have ever thought about my own identity, skills, personality. And I'm very glad I did. It's really sometimes hard to see what has molded our experiences and the sense of self, because how you were brought up, where you were brought up, all that will affect how you see yourself and how you see your potential. But the hardest thing is to shift that perspective of yourself. For me, it happened in here, in that building there.